Hi, I'm Chuck Joyner, and this is the MacVoices update for April 2019. Folks, I can't believe that we're already a quarter of the way through the year, but here we are. Spring is here in central Pennsylvania, and I have a good solid spring cold. So if I sound like it, my apologies. But I also didn't want to delay this update any longer. March was a month of pretty regular publication for MacVoices. That will change in April, of course, with the NAB show from Las Vegas. I'll be leaving next week to go to that, where I'll be attending some of the training sessions, which is something I always enjoy at NAB. But I'll also be doing some interviews from the show floor and attending the Faster Together event at the Rio Hotel. You heard Mike Horton introduce that on MacVoices this month. So look for more of that. So the first week of April will probably be a little bit disrupted, but after that we should smooth out and see things back to normal. So a couple things I wanted to touch on this month. First of all, and this has come up a few times, is the safety and security of your information with MacVoices. So let's just make it very clear here. If you share your email address with me for any reason, subscribing to the newsletter, in private correspondence, whatever, it does not go anywhere, period. It stays with me. I do, however, use several services to deliver information and produce MacVoices, and I do not have control, obviously, over them. That said, however, I do not believe, I have no indication that anything is being done maliciously, intentionally, or unintentionally by any of these entities, with the possible exception of Facebook. And, that's not anything they're targeting MacVoices listeners and viewers for. It's just Facebook. Other than that, though, everybody is pretty, I think, reliable and secure. And that includes Zoom, the service I use to produce both the audio and video versions of MacVoices. That includes MailChimp, that delivers the MacVoices dispatch to you. That also, of course, includes Patreon and PayPal, the services I use to accept donations and support for the show from you. Again, I have no reason to believe there's any problems, but the question was raised about, am I aware of any of these things, or what do I think about them? I feel pretty good about them. I certainly feel better about them than a number of services out there that we won't name. So if you see anything that looks like it's coming from me and you have any question about it, please let me know, because that is not the case. If you see a communication from me, it should be from me. If there's anything that looks like it's not from me, please let me know. So March was a good month in a number of other ways too. I had a couple appearances on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. I was asked to participate in the Intego Mac podcast, and also in Touch with iOS. And you can find listings for all those shows if you want to go and hear what we talked about on the MacVoices blog. I also was invited to present at two different user groups, the Suburban Chicago Apple Users and Washington Apple Pie, a group that I've visited a number of times in the past. It's always great getting together with user group people, and you feel like you've kind of come home when you go to those things. So if you are a member of a user group, great. If you are not, go and seek one out. See if you have one in your local area, or who knows, maybe even start one. Lastly, before we move on to some other things, I want to thank you all for supporting the Instagram posts that I've been making, the short edited down 1 minute or less video clips that I've taken from each interview and published there. I wasn't quite sure how Instagram was going to work for MacVoices, but I've been seeing a lot of views, quite a few positive comments, and encouragement to keep it up. So thank you. I'm glad that you're finding that useful, and maybe we're pulling in some new viewers and listeners. I certainly hope so. So with that, let's get to the financial side of things, as we always do. The good news for the Patreon campaign is that we did not lose any supporters this month. The bad news is that we didn't gain our one supporter per month goal. So that one's holding steady, and I once again want to thank everyone that contributes to the Patreon campaign. It's extremely important. You will also remember, though, that last month I introduced a new option to make one-time donations through PayPal. And this has met with quite a bit of success. I've been very pleased to see that, not just the donations, of course, they too are absolutely appreciated, but just the response and the encouragement I've had regarding this, that for some folks, it just feels better to do a one-time donation or to link their donation, if you will, to a particular episode or episodes of the show because they felt like they got particular value out of those. And so if that's the case, great. Both Patreon and PayPal are on the MacVoices homepage, links there to the homepage, and I'm putting a link in the show notes of each show to both services. So if you do find value in MacVoices, whether it's ongoing or whether it's just one or two particular shows, or if you're just more comfortable one way or the other, please. I really appreciate the support. It helps us keep going, helps us do things like go to NAB and bring some of the experience back to you. So, with that, let's talk about who was helping support MacVoices this month. From the Patreon campaign, at Platinum, we had RVS, no gold level supporters this month. At Silver, Chuck A., Max C., Michael D., Norbert F., David G., Tim G., Chuck P., Frank P., George R., and Daniel S. And at Bronze, Clinton M., Jiro M., Prop P, and Rick S. And for our new PayPal campaign, the April 2019 supporters were Wally C. at $100, Jerry P. at $25, Bobby F. at $10, and Ian P. at $60. It doesn't matter which list you're on or how you donated or even how much you donated. It's the fact that you help support the show that means so much to me. I know you have a lot of options out there for tech information, for Apple information, and I'm honored that you would choose to support MacVoices. And I hope to be able to continue to deliver for you in the future as I hopefully have in the past. So that's a wrap for this MacVoices briefing. I'll be back with another one next month and with more great shows coming right up. Until the next time, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.